Say amen. Say amen. Say amen. Amen. Our lives go better. Amen. Family go better. Amen. Everything go better. It go better. It go better. Amen. 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 Our lives go better. Amen. Family go better. Amen. Amen. It go better. Amen. It go better. Amen. 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 This year. Amen. Amen. This year, amen. This year, amen. Woo! Welcome to another edition of Marriage Clinic Anniversary Live. I'm so excited about today. Thank you for joining us. I remain your host, Morlayo and Okuti. Thank you to everyone for being a part of this second year anniversary. An impactful time since on Wednesday. We've learned so much. We've learned a lot. I'm happy that many of us did join the program because it's an opportunity to learn. And today is another day for us to learn as well. I would like to welcome everyone. Welcome to all members. Welcome to all our new joiners, our new subscribers. I'm really very grateful for everything that we are doing on the platform. So I'm just going to start today's section, and I will be speaking today. Like I said earlier, I am your host, Morlayo Han Okuti, and it is a privilege to be the convener of Marriage Clinic. I remember how this vision started. As a matter of fact, Marriage Clinic shoot of my fourth book, titled Marriage or Mirage. I remember after writing this book, I felt there is a need for us to follow up programs around this book. And as I was ruminating and thinking about it, as a matter of fact, that day I was coming back from work. It was in the car that the idea dropped in my heart, following so many prophecies that have gone ahead of me. And I knew that I think this is it, and this is what God would have me do. So I took on that challenge, and here we are today. It's our second year anniversary. We thank God for the grace, for even the wisdom, the knowledge, the ability, the resources to be able to do this. So like I said, the Marriage Clinic is an offshoot of my book titled Marriage or Mirage, Which Are You Making? Now it's after the launch of this book that Marriage Clinic was born. And after Marriage Clinic came into existence, we felt, okay, how can we make this sustainable in such a way that every day we are putting out information out there, we are teaching people, we are even helping people to clarify their thoughts, clarify their doubts, clarify their understanding, help them have insight as what marriage should actually be. And we were able to do this by setting up an online community. And that online community actually started out on Facebook. And I remember when we started out in 2019, the growth was very slow, but I was very consistent. I kept putting out information out there. We kept discussing issues on a daily basis. But today, the same group that started with 1 point in Marriage Clinic. I remember on that day, May 19th, 2019, when we started, I was the only member, but today we are about 50,000 members. I'm so excited about that. The Facebook group community has grown so well and so large, and many are learning on a daily basis. And from there we moved again to the YouTube platform. Why? Because we believe that aside from the daily discussions, the daily results, we still need to put our information out there that people could go learn from. And so we started the YouTube channel, which is Marriage Clinic TV. I do encourage everyone, if you're a member, please subscribe to that YouTube channel because you will be learning a lot from there. As a matter of fact, we do host different speakers, different teachers from different fields, including the professional field as well, not only from the religious field, from all spheres of life. We will make sure we keep inviting different speakers to come and talk to us about marriage, about relationship, about the issues men and women in their marriages. Because see, marriage is not an abstract term, it's a real thing. It's part of us, it's part of our life, it's a reality. So we need to know how to do marriage so that we don't continue to make a mirage of our marriage. And through this platform, Marriage Clinic, we have been able to answer many tough questions that couples have on their mind. We've been able to help even some spouses understand marriage better. We've been able to settle misunderstanding between couples. We've been able to educate ones that are going into marriage. We've been able to help them clarify, their doubt and even their choices of whom to marry. If you have been following us in the group, you will see examples of many young people coming to us saying, "Ma'am, this is the person I've met and I'm considering to marry, but these and these are the things I'm noticing." Actually, many of us, the red flags are usually flashing and we can see those red flags, but for so many reasons, probably societal pressure, probably pressures from parents, probably peer pressure, and so many other reasons. Desperation, oh, I'm getting older, I need to settle down. We ignore those red flags and we go ahead and get married to that person that in your heart of heart that you may end up not being thrilled by this choice of a spouse or a life partner that you have made. But people go ahead anyway. And when we get into it, we now realize that this is not what I really wanted. So we want to thank God because God has helped us to touch many far and near, both in Africa, in Asia, in America, in Europe. You will be amazed, how many continents have been represented in our group. I am also amazed as well. We have people following us from the US, from Canada, from Europe. We have people following us even from Asia. In Africa, people are following us. And that is why I do not take this work lightly. I take it as this is what our generation needs. This is what we need to be doing now if we want the future of marriage, to turn out well. So I will go straight to the topic of today. I've just explained the journey so far, and we are grateful for that journey. And we believe that the next 5 years, the next 10 years, 20 years of Marriage Clinic will be very, very impactful. We'll be impacting people, young people, older people, people already in marriage, people considering to get married. But I tell you, this is the right time to start because what we will be doing on this platform will go a long way to help to reshape a lot of minds about the concept of marriage. So I'm going to be talking about the future of marriage, and I'm going to start by laying a foundation. Now, I want us to know that marriage in itself is God's idea. It is concept, However, with the way our society is today, many of us, rather than living the essence of marriage, the purpose why God created marriage, what men and women are busy doing with this concept of marriage is to redefine it, is to recreate the concept of marriage. How do I mean? Of recent, we were hearing about same-sex marriage. same-sex marriages. That is one of the ways of trying to, recreate your own kind of marriage. However, that is not the original design. We have cohabitation marriage. Now, this means without getting married, two persons are living together, and they believe that, oh, so long I am attached to a man or I'm attached to a woman, we don't really need to get married. Let's just keep living together as man and wife, and they keep giving back from there. We have introduction marriage. Of recent, we've seen many people, and I mean many people, through this platform, I got to know that some people take introduction to be the same as marriage. I hear a lot on a daily basis, so many cases coming to us and saying, oh ma'am, we only had a mini introduction, we met our both parents, and afterward we started living together, and before you know it, of course, when you start living together, what happens is pregnancy setting, and after delivery, the veil seems to be open from to clear out of their eyes, and they will now realize that, wow, I don't even know this man or this woman that I did introduction with in the first place. And that is when you start hearing that, oh, he said, after all, he's not legally married to me, so why can't he cheat on me? Because you now discover that after that introduction, the man or the woman will now say, oh, I'm no longer interested. I have a more serious person that is interested in me, and they will simply elope with another person, abandon that introductory relationship that they said they have done. The children that came out of that, mini introduction they did, will be with one of them, and at the end of the day, they will make those children look like, oh, these are part of the children that came out, of wedlock. But this should not be. Now, another thing we have seen is rite passage. Now, when I say rite of passage, now we see, in some tradition, they believe that, oh, after traditional wedding, just do traditional. That traditional wedding and bride price gives you the rite of passage. Well, it's true. Now, in some culture, that is all that they do, and they believe they are married. But in today's world, we realize that some couples will wake up and tell you that, what, after all I did with you is traditional. So it does not really matter. It doesn't really count. So as a result of that, they start misbehaving. Infidelity, is out on that kind of a marriage, and they are not faithful. Why? Because they believe that, well, after all, it's just traditional marriage that we had, and because of that, I can there is nothing binding me to you legally. Now, there is another one, which is the wedding proper. Now, this wedding proper is what many of us grew up to. The truth is, the wedding proper is that a man, it usually follows after a love story. A man and a woman, they found each other, they love each other, and the next thing you would say is that, oh, we are getting married. Now, that getting married is important, and what people do is, oh, they go to the court or to the registry to register that marriage, to legalize it. In developed countries, they will say, oh, we are going to license our marriage. So they go to get a license, from probably city council or from the state, whichever way. But in Africa, you go to the registry, and you get married, and you are issued a certificate of marriage. Now, what I see is that many people are rushing to get a certificate of marriage. Some even go to church, some to mosque to do this wedding thing. Now they go, there's this passion or craze, to do wedding. Everyone wants to do wedding. As a matter of fact, research says that the bridal industry is a multi-million-dollar industry, the bridal industry. What does that mean? That means that people are willing to spend money, and I mean millions of dollars, millions of naira. People are willing to spend their life savings. They are willing to spend a fortune. They are even willing and ready to go and borrow to do wedding that is just a day, and even that day is less than 24 hours. All the event of the wedding usually happens in less than 24 hours. They will spend a fortune on it, and the same person will not be able to spend even 20,000 naira to invest in resources, in books, in marital counseling and consultation in order to know if they are prepared for the marriage itself. Now, we all the emotions, the attention, everything goes into the wedding, neglecting the preparation for the marriage. So when they get into the marriage, they now realize that wow, we can't undo the challenges that comes with the marriage. We cannot undo the burdens that come with marriage. We cannot undo the heavy duty responsibility, like Reverend Funke Adejumo said it on Wednesday, that marriage comes with heavy duty responsibility. So many of them just realize that wow, I can't undo this heavy duty responsibility that comes with this marriage. There was no prior thought towards how do we cope with the things that we will experience, the things we will see in the marriage. No prior experience, no prior preparation. As a matter of fact, in Africa, many people believe that once you go to school and you have academic qualification, automatically the next qualification you need to go and get is a marriage certification. Not knowing that marriage certification does not necessarily mean you are ready or you are prepared for marriage. Is it not a way that we see that even those that went through this route of doing weddings, spending a fortune on a party, spending a fortune on marital celebration, is it not amazing that even the percentage of people going in marriage through the wedding process usually end up, and in fact research says that 50 to 55% of this category will have their marriage usually in divorce. And I was wondering why, but it's already happening even in our society. It's the reality of our time. So what that tells me is that 1 out of 2 weddings that take place, that marriage will hit the rock. That marriage will end up in divorce. So what kind of marital culture or marriage culture are we creating, or are we trying to paint or teach to our generation? Now, the kind of marriage culture that is out there is the one that pays so much attention and values the marital rights, the marital celebration, the weddings. It values it more than the acquisition of knowledge, wisdom, the acquisition of the emotional intelligence, the acquisition of the understanding that the people going into such union needs to pivot their marriage. Now, wedding, like I said earlier, is just for 1 day. And that 1 day is usually less than 24 hours. And after that event, I mean, everyone goes to their houses, to your tent, O Israel, and you may end up not even seeing all those that attended your wedding anymore. That is the truth. Now, event, here comes the marriage. The marriage is a place where you're going to spend decades, decades. Why? Because it's actually meant to be a lifetime. We are talking about spending 20 years, 30 years, 40 years of your life, in that journey. Yet, take it with kids' gloves. They will take it with levity. They will refuse to prepare for that 40 years, for that 30, for that 20 years journey. There is a scripture that says that, does any man who wants to build a house, won't you sit down and count the cost wouldn't you count the cost of what you're about to go into? But what we see today is that people carelessly, and I mean carelessly, why? Because they believe and they think that, oh, mating equates love. Mating, intercourse equates love. Oh, when I have someone that I'm mating with, that we are regularly having sex, oh, it simply means we love each other. No, that is not true. That you are mating with someone does not mean you love each other, and does not mean that person will be the right person that will bring about the fulfillment that you really need in your life. So we've lost a lot of values in the course of trying to perform the marriage rite, the marriage rite, the wedding celebration. In the course of trying to do that, we've lost the real thing. And what is the real thing? The real thing is preparing you as the man, preparing you as the woman for that lifelong journey called marriage, because that one is the one that needs to be successful. That one is the one that will entail the family life that will result in nation building. As a matter of fact, the family unit, the nation is a product of the family unit. So if the family life is not together, I wonder how the nation will be together. Little wonder we are experiencing all what we are seeing today, a society where there is no order, breakdown of law and order. Why? Because even right from our homes, people do things anyhow. There is no more discipline. Husband cannot talk to wife. Wife can no longer respect husband. Children just behave anyhow without anyone cautioning them. When things like this happen, when law and order breaks down, I tell you, it has a ripple effect. It will show when people go society, they will do the same thing. When you go into places of leadership, you will go and do the same thing there. But it all started from the home. So, like I said earlier, the fact that the culture that we are promoting in Africa, and even in some other parts of the world concerning marriage, the marriage culture we are promoting is that of a fun fair, a game show. That is what we are promoting. It's the party, it's the celebration that comes with it, it's the money to be spent already and contribute to the multi-million dollar bridal industry that is already in existence. You also want to contribute to that industry. So everyone is in a hurry to get married. Oh, I need to get married. Oh, I need to be seen as being in the league or the class of the marriage. Wedding is important. However, what is more important is the marriage, and you should be developing yourself. You should be cultivating yourself. You should be building up yourself for that journey called marriage, because that is where the family life will come out from. And if you are not prepared for that family life, I tell you, it will end up in a chaos. It will end up in divorce. The fact that you are unprepared will show. Little wonder these days when you tell young people, oh, you need to read books before you even go into relationship. You need to read books even while you are courting. Even the married one, you tell them you need to read books. Many of them, they are not ready to read anything. The reading culture has gone down. No one wants to read. No one wants to, to invest in resources and materials that will help to build their knowledge, their understanding regarding this concept of marriage. No one is willing to pay to attend trainings, to do marriage consultations, to get marital counseling. They don't want to pay. People want free things. However, when it comes to the wedding ceremony, they are willing to go and borrow to have that wedding event happen in grand style. Can't you see that that is a misplacement of priority? It's like a man that uses his money to go and buy a big car. You buy a big Jeep and you are driving that big Jeep with a pained heart. Your heart is pained, yet you are driving a big Jeep. Why? Are you driving a big Jeep with a pin hat? It's because when you now finish spending that much money in getting a big car, and you now get you acquire, you now realize that this really doesn't give fulfillment, because we used to think that, oh, a big wedding equates a successful marriage. So you do the big elaborate wedding, you spend all your life savings, and you cannot invest even 20,000 naira in buying books, in seeing a marriage counselor, in getting consultation. Then you now get into the marriage and you discover that, wow, I'm actually an empty anything about marriage. Even the spouse I married does not know, gambling with it. We are just doing trial and error. See, marriage is a very sensitive thing. You cannot go in there and be doing trial and error. And when you now when the true person starts unraveling in that marriage, you will now discover that your heart is pained. You are bitter, resentment setting, because you are now asking yourself, what did I get myself into? Is this what I really bargained for? And that is the reality that many are living in today. And that is why we hear more of, oh, marriage is meant to be enjoyed and not to be endured. In the first place, God did not create marriage to be endured. He created marriage to be enjoyed. It is we human beings, out of our wrong concept of what marriage should be, we've turned it out, created so many concepts out of this concept of marriage. And that is why many are living in bitterness. They are bitter about their marriage or the choice of their life partner. They are not fulfilled. Many are living in regret that, why did I even make this choice? This person no longer thrills you. This was the same person you were thrilled with, or thrilled about, that, oh, I'm going to march to the altar with this person and exchange vows with this person. You used to be thrilled about him or about her, and all of a sudden, all those excitement, all those love emotion vanished. They flew out of the window. Why? Because the reality has set in the marriage, and the reality was not met with preparation. So the reality has overtaken and overrun both of you, and that is why both of you cannot do without fighting, without arguing. Why? Because knowledge is missing, understanding is lacking, there is no wisdom in handling the day-to-day issues that come. And like I said earlier, that marriage comes with lots of responsibility. Many of us didn't even know that before going into marriage. Many, cannot even responsibilities that come with marriage, yet you just want to claim, oh, I'm Mr., I'm husband, I'm Mrs., oh, I'm wife. No, it's not by title, it's by responsibility, and the responsibilities are huge. So I'm still talking about the future of marriage. So because we all are busy paying attention, creating a marriage culture of, oh, celebration, fanfare, it's a game show. Who has the best wedding gown? Oh, whose wedding is the balmest? Oh, whose wedding was was the noise of the society. That is the culture we are busy painting to the young one. And because that is the culture we are busy painting to the young ones, they are missing the point. They are thinking wedding is the marriage. Meanwhile, the marriage itself, no one is investing in it. No one is, even the educational curriculum is not teaching our young people what marriage entails. No school teaches you that. Even parents neglect that part of the training of their children. The male child, the female child, how many parents sit them down even while they are growing on? Once they are 10, you are beginning to tell them, see, there is a part of your life that is a major determinant of whether you will be successful in life, or whether you will live long, whether you will enjoy longevity in life. That part of your life, that stage of your life will determine a lot of things. It will determine whether even this your educational qualification that you are acquiring will still be relevant by them, because the choice of the spouse they make can turn everything around and make it a mess and make it useless. And that is why from their young age, you need to start teaching them, start telling them, teach them values, how to be responsible. It's very important. You know why? Because marriage comes with responsibility. When they were going to school, they were under your roof, you were responsible for them, you give them everything they need. But in marriage, you will no longer be responsible for them. They will be responsible for themselves in addition to some other people. So when have you taken out time to teach them how to become responsible? Model it to them. Let them also know what responsibility is and carry out responsibility. So it is very important that we guard against this misplaced priority, the misplacement of priority. Like I said, wedding at times is important, but much more important is the knowledge and the wisdom that will take you through the marriage itself, because in that marriage is where the family life lies, and that is where, children is going to come out from, and those children too will need your guidance. And if you don't have the required understanding, I wonder what values we will be passing across to those children. So currently, everyone has been thinking and having a rethink about whether marriage is really necessary. The young ones will be like, you may not really need to get married. Or, if it's children you are looking for, just look for a man to impregnate you, or you go for, some people call it, whether it's IVF or something, or to a man to inject to of a man to fertilize your own egg as a woman, and from there you will have children. So when I started, I talked about the different concepts of marriage, that we have now. They've redefined it. Some, we have same-sex marriage, we have cohabitation, we have the introduction marriage, where people just do introduction and start living together. We've created all sorts out of the concept of marriage. Meanwhile, the concept of marriage that God introduced to man is the concept of man and wife, and that unit. Through that unit, a family life will begin, a family life will commence, and they will be able to reproduce children, even though both of them will continue to enjoy companionship. And as they start their family life, they will begin to model the plans and purpose of God to their children. But what we have today is you can have same-sex marriage. You can have people that their intention is not to get married, it's just to be sleeping with each other. And before you know it, accidentally they conceive, and they realize that they've given birth. We have all sorts of arrangement now that people call marriage. People call marriage. I've seen people that mating, they take mating, or they take sex as a proof and show of love. And when I see young people thinking like that, it pains my heart, because when you think that, because this person is steadily having sex with me, it's love, and your thought pattern or your thinking is that, because we are having regular sexual intercourse, it's a proof of love. No, I tell you, those things will clear off your eyes when the reality sets in. So those are part of the wrong concept that many people are battling with today, that is resulting in the chaos that we are seeing in homes and in marriages today, and the high rate of divorce that we are seeing today. They are all resulting from all of this. Now, so people are beginning to say, shouldn't we reassess the need for marriage? Should we not reassess the need for marriage? Because some are beginning to think, I can actually be successful in life without getting married. So why do I need to be attached or to go and sign a life sentence with a man or with a woman? So many things are happening today. People are thinking, do we really need to get married? And it's beginning to happen abroad, where some will tell themselves, you know what, I don't want to get married, but I'll have children anyway. And they go about having children without getting married. But it takes two to raise a child. It takes two parents, not one. It takes the man and a woman to raise a balanced child. So when God instituted marriage, he knew what he was doing. Now, the marriage market is such that some people say it's similar to the black market, because honestly, you may not know what you are taking. It is after you have taken that thing from the marriage market that when you now start living with it, that you will now ask yourself, did I really get what I wanted? Did I really get what I bargained for? And the reason why it's like that, the reason why many go into marriage with darkness, many experience, the reason why you are going into marriage confused or without light is because the concept of marriage is wrong in our heart. You don't understand what it is. You are thinking it's the wedding that is marriage. No. What many people are saying, the picture they are seeing in their heart is the wedding picture. The wedding picture. No, that is not marriage. The marriage itself is a lifetime. We are talking about decades. We are talking about years. We are talking about living together as man and wife with your children for 20 years, 30 years, 40 years, if you are still alive. And the truth is, if another arrangement we see today, even though we see people who have wedded living together as husband and wife, that went through the proper wedding, they wedded in church, went to legal, wedded in mosque and things like that, and they think that they are running a monogamy. What we see is that despite the fact that it's a monogamy kind of marriage, what we see is that that marriage is also heavily characterized by infidelity, cheating. Almost on a daily basis, we get cases of cheating. Oh, my husband is cheating. My wife is cheating. My husband has a girlfriend, even though he has only one wife, but he has a girlfriend. And I'll get confused. I'll be like, excuse me, how do you mean girlfriend? Because you already told me you are his wife, and now you are telling me he has a girlfriend, and the wife is aware of this girlfriend, and she too, she has taken it as well. That is my destiny, to be married to a man that also have a side chick or a girlfriend, that is servicing him. And I'm beginning to wonder, was this the concept of marriage in God's mind and in God's eyes when he was introducing marriage to man? The answer is definitely no. So there is a lesser appreciation of that concept of marriage now. That people are placing less value on what marriage should be. Now, there is a saying somewhere in Matthew 5 where Christ was speaking there. He said, see, I did not come to abolish the law. I did not come to remove the law or the prophet, but I came to fulfill it. Now, what many of us should be doing is to fulfill the marriage that God has introduced to man, because that marriage also looks like law. This marriage is an institution. He introduced an institution to man instead of us, human being, to be fulfilling the purpose, the essence of that institution, of why God introduced, the marriage institution to mankind. What we are busy doing, we are busy abolishing it. We are busy removing the essence of that marriage institution. We are redesigning the concept. We are changing the arrangement. We've bastardized it and given it so many names, so many concepts. As a matter of fact, some no longer see it as a spiritual arrangement or a spiritual institution. Some see it as a legal institution. So they believe that, well, since we are legally married, all I need is to also go to the court of law to get a divorce in case of any little misunderstanding. So no more tolerance, no more friendship. So you see that at any little thing, you know what, we want to do this. Why? Because the purpose and the essence of marriage, has been lost. So already some people, some school of thought are already started predicting the death of marriage itself. So some people are already saying, well, in 10, 20 years from now, if we are not careful as a people, if we are not careful as an organization, if we are not careful as a faith-based organization, marriage may end up going into extinction if we are not shifting the focus of the young people to the right. Need to be shifting their focus away from the funfair, the same marriage as the funfair, shifting their focus away from it's the wedding thing, to shifting their focus to the main thing, which is the marriage. One good thing that the pandemic has come to do for us is to make sure that it is impossible for a large number of one place under a roof again. And that pandemic, part of what it's doing is to shake up a lot of things and to help people have a rethink, to help people really have a reassessment of their lives and the things they used to prioritize. That does this thing really matter? I remember during the pandemic, people were having weddings even over Zoom. People were having weddings offline. It's just maybe the parents of the bride and the groom. They are not more than 10, and they will go to the pastor or to the imam, and people will be watching them from Zoom, from different social media platform, and that was all. And that is the end of the wedding, and both of them go home and start their marriage life the same way someone that has done an elaborate wedding will start it. So could it God is helping us to refocus. God is helping us to reprioritize, because if you are painting a picture of this wedding celebration, the fun fair, the game, the game show to the younger ones as what marriage will grow up thinking that is all, and they will be neglecting the need for them to acquire wisdom, to acquire the understanding they need to try marriage. Many of them now, they don't want to read. Even the adults, the one, when you tell them go and read a book on finances, go and read a book on sex, go and read a book on marriage, they will be frowning. They don't want to read. And you are wondering, what culture of marriage are we building? What culture of marriage are we introducing to the younger generation? So there is a prediction by researchers that in another 10 to 20 years, there will be the death of marriage itself. Marriage may likely go into extinction. People may no longer be interested in getting married. Why? Because they will see it as, why should I get married when I can just attach myself to one girl or to one boy and we can be living together? Meanwhile, another thing is that the wide acceptance or increase in premarital sex also created room for this, because many people now, they no longer see the need for marriage because they are getting premarital sex cheaply. Now, when you hear people dating from day one, that the guy asks for the girl's name. Oh, hello, young lady. How are you? Can I meet you? Please, what's your name? As soon as she's finishing saying her name, oh, my name is let's say Esther. As soon as she's finishing saying her name, the next thing is that they are sleeping together. There is this alarming increase in premarital sex, and that is why we are having so many children, so many pregnancies happening outside of wedlock, so many children being born, to this act of premarital sex. People now sleep together cheaply. I mean cheaply. I remember when I was still growing up, when I was doing CC. Before you will sleep with a guy, I used to see it as no, an abomination. In fact, in my heart, I'll be telling myself, if you try it, a thunder will strike you. Because we were taught, we were trained to reserve such an act until marriage. But these days, just at the asking of your name, they start sleeping together. So widespread increase in premarital sex is one of the reasons why marriage may go into extinction. It's on the increase. People don't see the need to keep themselves anymore. And widespread of unwedded motherhood and fatherhood. They didn't get married properly, but they are busy giving and all of that. And one day the man may just wake up and say, you know what, I've had enough of you. I don't like your face again. I don't like the face I'm seeing every morning when I wake up. So he jumps to the next boss and catches the next girl. And this other lady, will be going about wailing, oh, help, help, help. So this is how it starts. So, and there is a surge in extramarital affairs. I don't think there is a decade or a time that we saw an alarming increase, a surge, in extramarital affairs as we are seeing it today. People who are already married involved with a third party, involved with a side chicks, a side cock, involved with other people. They sleep together so cheaply. The other day, someone came to the clinic telling me about how, even though she's a married woman, she has given birth to, I think, 2 or 3 children. She was telling me how she was involved in extramarital affairs that got her pregnant for another man. And when I heard it, I could not sleep that night because in my mind I was like, can this be real? Because you are in your husband's house, you've given birth to children, yet you are going out there to have extramarital affair that even got you pregnant. Excuse me, what is going on? So there is a surge in extramarital affairs, and this is telling us a lot about marriage. So the way forward, is that high time we um, the structured organization like faith-based organization, the religious organization, even the schools, whether tertiary institution, secondary institution, and we the parents, it's high time we begin to reorientate our children about the concept of marriage, what marriage really is. It's high time we shifted their mind away from, oh, marriage is the wedding celebration, the funfair, to what marital journey, family life is all about. We need to start preparing them in character, in values, even emotionally, how to handle the challenges that come with being married, how to be responsible, how not to treat a boy child differently from a girl child, how to have survival skills as both a man and a woman, how to take care of a home, how to take care of children, how to take care of another person, how to be responsible, how to cater for those around you. Because as it is, some men, they just want a wife, they don't want to be responsible, they just want to marry. I want to marry, and all they have on at the back of their mind is a woman they can be sleeping with. But I tell you, they are not ready to buy pants for that woman. They are not ready to cover her shame with a brand new pants. Yet that is the place they are passing through to go and have sex with her. They don't want any responsibility. They give birth to children. They don't know how that child is eating. They don't know how that child is going to school. They care less. Yet they want to sleep with the woman. And we have some women too that you married, the man is pulling his weight, is doing all to make the home, you know, to be intact, providing, yet you will be wasting his resources. You cannot compliment his effort. You will run out there, be indulging in extramarital affairs. Meanwhile, this man is laboring every day to make sure you and the children are comfortable, and you cannot meet him halfway to complement his effort by you also doing something productive, to help him as an helpmate. So we as parents, we have a lot of work to do. We have a lot of work to do, because the truth is, this concept of marriage as God has designed it is what we should be teaching to our children, and not the funfair that comes with it, not introducing them to the marriage, because to the wedding. Because see, I can tell you, even a 3-year-old or a 4-year-old child knows what wedding is. Some of them are even ring bearers at the wedding. Even a 6 years old knows what wedding is. Why? Because that is the picture society paints to them as what marriage is. It's the celebration. But those children don't know what marriage really is. We as parents are not allowing them to experience the essence, the purpose of what marriage should be. That family life, how it should be, how God designed it, an ideal marriage. We are not letting them know what it is. It is the picture of the funfair, the celebration, the expending money, inviting guests and all of that we are painting to them. So I'm afraid if we continue this way, there may be no marriage anymore. The future of marriage may become bleak, and marriage may eventually go into extinction. Why? Because people will say, after all, I can get the sex people are getting in marriage outside of marriage, premarital sex everywhere, extramarital sex everywhere. So people will say, oh, after all, I can get it. Oh, after all, I can get those children in marriage. I can get it by going to do sperm donation or going to do IVF. I can get it. Oh, after all, the companionship that people are getting in marriage, I can go get it elsewhere with someone else. After all, I can just attach myself to a man or a woman and I'll still get. So people are beginning to think, so of what benefit is putting myself, in a lifetime commitment? And some see it as bondage. So a lot of things are happening that is making people to rethink of what use is marriage, of what essence is marriage. But we shouldn't let this concept of marriage to be lost, especially as it was introduced to us by God. We shouldn't let it to be lost. Why? Because it is the family unit that determines how the society, how the nation, the countries out there will be. And if we are not getting it right in the home, there is no way we can get it right out there. There's no way our country would do well. We can see the results even in the leadership of the nations. You will be wondering, did the parents really train this leader? Because the way they do things, it's like they are being selfish. It's like they're only thinking about self. And that is how many spouses are in their relationship, in their marriage. It's selfish. You are just about yourself. You care less if the other person is happy, if the other person is fulfilled, if the other person is making progress. You put them in a box and you tell them, oh, this is how you must live your life. Why? Because they are married to you. No, the fact that I'm married does not mean I should throw away my existence. I should throw away my identity. I should throw away the things that make me happy, the things that make me fulfilled as a human being. No, marriage is supposed to enhance it. Marriage is supposed to help you, inspire you, encourage you, motivate you to even fulfill purpose. So it is important that we all, as a body, faith-based organization, other organizations out there, we the teachers, we the parents, to begin to re-educate our children so that the future of marriage in their will be better than what we are experiencing now. We can right the wrongs by reorientating them from now. So I hope that I have been able to help our minds to think differently. Because if we continue like this, I tell you, a time will come, there may be no marriage anymore. People may no longer be interested in getting married. Those long queues that we see at registry, they will no longer exist. Why? Because why should I go and put myself in a bondage, and when it's time to, if I don't like what I get, I can easily go back. But by then I'll be looking for money to pay to a lawyer again to divorce. So why should I get married in the first place? Now it's gradually getting to that point. People now want free things, free wife, free husband, free children. They don't want to be responsible. No one is teaching responsibility. Being responsible as a woman, as a man. You just want everything to fall on your lap. You want everything to come and meet you where you are without lifting a finger. Life is not designed to function like that. And life does not work like that. Whether you are a wife or you are a husband, you must do something. You must be contributing meaningfully to family life, to society, even to the nation at large. So I think I've said a lot, and I would like to stop here. The program continues tomorrow. Tomorrow we are privileged to have Mr. Olakunle Shoriyan joining us live. And yes, normally we are supposed to start at 5 p.m., but he won't be able to start at 5 for some reasons, and I think time difference as well. So he has promised that he would be available to join us or to start at about 8 o'clock. So please join us at 8 p.m. tomorrow as we host Mr. Olakunle Shoriyan. It will be just 1 hour. We will not exceed the time. And please, for every one of us who has watched today, I will keep saying, get a copy of this book, Marriage or Mirage. This is the book that battered or brought about marriage clinic. This is the hard cover, the hard paperback, and this is the soft copy. You can look down at the comment section to see how you can get it, and it's also available on Amazon. It's available, worldwide. It's available also in Nigeria. It's available in both soft copy and in hard copy. E-copy too is available. Just check the comment section. It will take you to the link where you can download it. Get the book, invest. It's a resourceful material. Marriage or mirage, which are you making? Some of you are busy making mirages of your marriage. It will tell you what are the things you are doing in that marriage that will eventually turn that marriage into a mirage. So you need to get it. And if you are willing to be a distributor, or you are willing to sell it, maybe you're a young person, you want to earn, or even if you are a married person, you want to earn, and you want to be a distributor of this book, I will be willing to discount it heavily for you, and just to make sure it reaches out to people and it touch life. That is the essence of doing this. So if you are willing to be a distributor, please, you can also contact me, inbox me through any of our social media platform, and I'll be glad, to work with you to spread this around. Marriage or mirage, which are you making? So thank you so much for joining us today. I'm so glad that we are gradually wrapping up with the celebration. Don't forget to join us tomorrow. Remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Give us a like, give us a comment if all of this is touching your life. I remain your host, Moralai Ann Obuti, and I say till we'll meet again.